Any guess?
Ma'am, any specific behavior or characteristics shown by an individual?
Okay. Is the screen visible to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
I am sharing my screen. Okay. Many lay persons understand personality in terms of social attractiveness. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Social attractiveness and the ability to go on well with others. Okay, those who are sociable and pleasant looking are considered to have a good personality, but and those who do not possess such ability are said to have relatively poor personality. However, this is not scientific. From a scientific point of view, defining personality in terms of social attractiveness seems inadequate because of two reasons. We cannot consider personality as a social attractiveness because it limits the number and types of behaviors considered important and worthy for incorporation into the study of personality. All our characteristics and nature are considered to be a part of our personality, as you told just now. If we take social attractiveness as the personality only, so it limits the scope of our personality. Secondly, such a notion implies that some people who have unique abilities, temperament, and traits are devoid of having a personality if they are so not attractive. Though they have many unique abilities, they will be said to have a poor personality because they are not pleasant looking or they cannot go along well with other people. Okay. Psychologists explain personality in terms of 2 points. So, first is individuality. Second is consistency. Individuality means people differ greatly the way they feel, think, and act in different situations and in same situation at different times. Okay, all of us now present in this meeting, we feel, think, and act differently. Even I myself do not behave consistently in same situation at different times. And second aspect of personality is consistency. People also seem to behave consistently in different situations over time. Okay, yes, according to the situation, even if the situation is the same, I may behave differently depending on my mood. There may be difference, but I also behave consistently in different situations over time. An irritable person tends to be irritated in almost all the situation. The person has a tendency to be irritated. So the concept of traits or disposition comes from this perceived consistency. So combining these two notions of individuality and consistency, personality can be defined as the distinctive and unique ways in which each individual thinks, feels, and acts. Okay, so personality determines our way of thinking, feeling, and behavior. Okay, and this characterizes the person's response throughout life. It is relatively permanent. So, personality has some features. First, personality influences the way we think, feel, and act. That means it influences our behavior. Second, it is unique. Third, it is relatively permanent. However, it is to be kept in mind that the nature of behavior is dynamic and there may occur changes in organization and structure of behaviors over a period of time. Yes, personality is relatively stable. Uh, uh, and at the same time, our personality organization of our behavior also changes over a period of time. As we age, many of our behaviors change. It is in this sense that Alport defined personality as the dynamic organization within the person of the psychophysical systems that determine the unique adjustments to one's environment. That means personality is something important, and personality, the structure, organization of behavior also changes. Psychophysical systems means personality is something within the individual, and personality determines our way of adjustment to our environment. That means it determines our behavior, and our pattern of behavior characteristics, combination of our pattern of behavior is unique. This suggests that there is an inner personality that guides and directs individuals' behavior, as I have already told you. And it is it should be kept in mind that here personality is different from character and temperament. There are two other words, character and temperament, which are distinct from personality. While the term character refers to the value judgments, character refers to the value judgments, person's moral values or ethical behavior. So character is related to our moral and ethical aspects of our behavior. Temperament refers to the inborn enduring characteristics. It is inborn and enduring, such as irritability, adaptability, etc. However, both character and temperament are vital parts of personality. They are related to personality, though they are different from it, but they are related. Factors influencing personality development. Let us discuss about the factors which directly or indirectly influence the growth and development of personality. Since these factors tend to determine the way personality develops, they are also called as determinants of personality. These factors have been broadly grouped into three general categories. First, biological factors, psychological factors, and environmental factors. So, what are the biological determinants of a personality? Biological determinants are physical determinants. They emphasize that physique and body functioning are directly responsible for personality development. Yes, our biology determines our behavior, and personality is nothing but the way we feel and act. So, which biological or physical factors influence our behavior or our feeling and thinking? Mainly body build, physical attractiveness, homeostasis. Homeostasis is our body balance. How do we balance? Our temperature is balanced. Um, our temperature in the body is balanced through the technique of homeostasis. Physical defects, health conditions, and heredity. Though personality appears to be mainly environmentally determined, modern research has found that personality is moderately heritable. That means many of our traits and characteristics we inherit. They are genetically determined. Okay, then let us come to psychological factors. Psychological factors include our intellectual ability, skills, etc., our emotional determinants, that is the way we express our emotion, whether we suppress our emotion, etc. Or then self disclosure, how do we express ourselves and our self concept, confidence, etc., and our aspirations and achievements. There are also environmental factors. Personality, many of the psychologists, they believe that personality is predominantly environmentally determined. Environmental factors include the emotional climate of our home or family, within the family, size and type of family, whether the family is a nuclear family or a joint family, whether the family is a single parent family. All these types also influence our behavior. Then birth order, we will discuss later on. Our Adler, he has found out that the firstborn and lastborn children are different in terms of their behavior and personality. Social acceptance and rejection, social deprivation, all these factors influence our personality. Therefore, it can be concluded that development of personality can be explained in terms of the following equation. Personality development is equal to physical determinants into psychological determinants into environmental determinants. All these three groups of determinants, they interact among themselves, and the resultant figure is our personality. Resultant output is our personality. So all these factors, they interact, they contribute their share to the development of our personality. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Ma'am, can you
Yes.
explain more about emotional climate of home?
Emotional climate of home, yes. In our home, so suppose the relationship there, there is a very loving relationship among the members of the home, members of the family. it is a different emotional environment. Uh, on the other hand, if the members are always in tussle with each other, the parents are quarreling among each other, then the climate, emotional climate is very, what to say, it is a very not peaceful. So it will definitely influence our behavior, affect our behavior. If there is no bond among the family members, the parents are not attached to the child, then the child will maybe may show negative behavior. Uh, on the other hand, if the parents are very patient and lovingly deal with the child will also be a loving one, isn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
Uh, so now, by now, you have an idea about what personality is. Okay? Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Um, and let us discuss how to assess personality. Somebody has told that if something exists in this world, it exists in different amounts, so it can be assessed or measured. So personality, if our characteristics exist, then characteristic exists in some persons, it exists in good amount, and some persons have less amount of it. Some persons are more intelligent, some persons are less intelligent, likely some persons are very confident, so some other persons are less confident. Like this, the traits uh, are present within the individuals in different amounts. Okay, so if the all persons differ in terms of the amount of or the degree of these characteristics, then it can be measured. So personality assessment refers to the estimation of one's personality makeup. Personality is made up of our traits, mainly our qualities. So we can estimate the degree to which these qualities exist. Okay. The methods of estimating or measuring or assessing personality vary according to the theory of personality used to develop those methods. Okay, so we will discuss in future different theories of personality. Different theories adopt different methods of assessing personality. Uh, mainly, there are four main methods of assessing personality. First is interviews, second is projective technique, third is behavioral assessment, and fourth is inventories, self-report inventories. Okay, so let us discuss interview. Interview, we all know what interview is. Interview is a method of personality assessment in which the interviewee has to answer the questions asked by the professional or the psychologist in a structured or unstructured fashion. Okay, so interview is what we do in interview. we directly ask some questions to the interviewee. Interviewee means the person who is being interviewed. Okay. We directly ask some questions, and the interviewee gives answers to these questions. And interviews can be structured or unstructured, or it can also be semi-structured. Structured means the questions to be asked, the order of questions, the answers to be given, alternative answers to be given, all are fixed. Okay, the questions are fixed, the order of questions are fixed, and the alternative answers to these questions are also fixed. This is structured. Everything is fixed. We cannot change it. Unstructured means it is structured interviews are also known as close-ended interviews. Unstructured interviews, it is open-ended. The answers which the interviewee gives is not closed. There is not fixed alternatives or fixed options to be given by the interviewee. Yes, no type, there is not like this. Unstructured means the interviewee can give any answer to this to the question asked to him. And semi-structured is, it is between structured and unstructured. The questions are formed, but we can change the order, and the responses are open-ended. So I think you have understood the difference between structured, unstructured, and semi-structured interviews.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Interview method has several advantages. So that it is very easy, and it is very what to say, easy and cheap method of assessing personality. No instrument is used. We directly ask the question to the interview, and it is also very easy, but it has some limitations. Now, what are the limitations? Interview we have already discussed. We ask questions and demand some answers about the interviewee. So the interviewee has to report his or her innermost feelings, concerns, and or just okay. So the client has to give information about this interview. The clients or interview, they can lie, they can misinform, they might not have remembered the facts about their past reality. So they may hide the true information for social desirability. What is social desirability? Is we all want to seem socially desirable. There are some characteristics which are socially desirable. So we do not want to give such response which may seem contradictory to these social desirable qualities. For example, suppose you ask a thief, do you steal things from others? Even if it is even if the person steals, he may lie, he may say no. Because stealing is not a socially desirable quality. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Secondly, biases can occur on the part of the interviewers. Interviewer is also a person, and he or she has his or her own personal beliefs and prejudices, and the interviewer may interpret the information given by the interviewee in the light of his or her own personal belief and prejudices. So biases can be there. Thirdly, halo effect is another problem with interviews. Halo effect is a tendency to form a favorable or unfavorable impression of someone at the first meeting. It is a first impression. We make a favorable or unfavorable impression about the interviewee. And that first impression influences our interpretation. But suppose always we interpret the responses of the interviewee according to our first impression about the person. That is halo effect. Halo effect is a positive terminology. Suppose we make a favorable impression about a person, and we interpret all the information given by the person positively. The other side of it, the opposite of it, is known as horn effect actually. The second method of assessing personality is projective techniques. Projective techniques are assumed to reveal the central aspects of personality that lie in the unconscious mind of the individual. Our unconscious motivations, unconscious desires, our inner fears and complexes, these can be accessed through projective techniques. The underlying hypothesis of projective techniques is that the unstructured test material serves as a sort of screen on which respondents project their characteristics, thought processes, anxieties, conflicts, and needs, etc. Okay, so some ambiguous material is presented. The test is unstructured, and it is unstructured, ambiguous stimuli are presented to the individual, and the individual projects his or her inner unconscious motivations, anxieties, conflicts, etc., onto those stimuli, unstructured or ambiguous stimuli. So clients are shown ambiguous visual stimuli by the psychologist and asked to tell what they see in those stimuli. It is presumed that the client will project the unconscious concerns and fears onto the visual stimulus, and thus the psychologist can interpret the responses and understand the underlying problem of the client. Actually, Gallon first constructed in 1879 a test, word association test.
Ma'am, I
Yes.
think you skipped. Ma'am, I think you skipped the unit 2. You are now reading unit 3.
Sorry, I cannot hear you.
Ma'am, hello?
Yes.
Ma'am, I think you skipped unit 2, state or trait approaches to personality. And you are now teaching us the unit 3.
Yes. I am teaching you unit 3.
Yes, yes.
Unit
I,
2 is your, yes, I have skipped. I will discuss it.
okay. Thank
Okay. Your unit 2 is type and trait theories. I will discuss the theories after this unit, this block. Knowingly, I have skipped. Hello?
Okay, ma'am. Okay.
Okay. Later, similar tests were used in clinical settings by Carl Jung. Oh, we know Jung's word association test, and Frank introduced the term projective method to describe a range of tests which could be used to study the personality with unstructured stimuli. Some examples of projective tests are Rorschach plot test, thematic apperception test, word association test, sentence completion test, and draw a person test, draw a tree test, etc. Uh, Advantages of projective tests are the individual has enough opportunity to project his or her own personality attributes, which in the course of normal interview or conversation the person would not reveal. In interview, as we have discussed, we directly ask the person to uh, give some personal information. So there is a possibility that the individual may lie or may not be willing to disclose his personal information. But in projective tests, since the person is not directly asked to give his or her personal information, personal feeling, the person projects these information onto the stimuli. So the person doesn't know that these he is revealing his private information. If the person cannot know. So uh, true information can be obtained. More specifically, projective instruments also represent disguised testing procedures. As I have told you, the test takers are not aware of the psychological interpretation to be made of their responses. They do not know, so they would not lie. There is the possibility of lying is less. Uh, so social desirability effect is minimum. First, so what are the advantages? First, the information, private information, personal information can be obtained, which otherwise the person would not disclose. Secondly, the possibility of social desirability effect is minimum. Limitations of the projective tests. Projective tests are basically subjective in nature, and the interpretation of the answers of clients needs deep analytic and artistic traits. So, interpretation of projective responses to the projective tests need expertise on the part of the test administrator. So it is difficult. It needs expertise, great amount of expertise to interpret these tests. Uh, Secondly, reliability and validity of projective tests are comparatively low. Mm, because uh, we project our uh, moods, our inner motivations, anxieties onto the stimuli. Our anxieties. Suppose now I am feeling anxious. At a different point of time, I may not be so anxious, so my response may change to the same stimulus, my response may change. So that's why the reliability and validity is the psychometric properties. They are comparatively low. And some researchers, they argue that they show some evidence that projective techniques are guided by methodological flaws. They point out, they argue that methodologically projective techniques are not perfect. They are ill-designed. Some psychologists argue. Third way to assess personality is direct observation, behavioral assessment, direct observation of a behavior. So, uh, this method requires the psychologist to observe the client while engaged in ordinary daily routine behavior at different settings like home, school, workplace, and any other natural setting. So the person is unaware, the test taker is unaware of the fact that he is being observed. So observation takes place in a natural setting, and the person uh, most of the time the person doesn't know that he is being assessed or he is being observed. And the we report our observation in the form of rating scales and frequency counts. So rating scales and frequency counts are very often used to record the observed behavior. What is a rating scale? In a rating scale, either the psychologist or the client assigns a numeric rating for some specific behavior. Suppose 1 to 5, we rate our observation. The person is very, what to say, agreeable or slightly agreeable. We observe his behavior and we rate it. Uh, and on the other hand, in a frequency count, the frequency of certain behaviors in a specified time limit is counted. Um, behavioral assessment, it is there are some advantages of behavioral assessment. It is the behavior is observed in a natural setting, natural observation, natural setting, so we can get a real picture of the behavior of the person. But limitations are there. Observer bias is a major limitation of behavioral assessment. The observer can interpret the behavior according to his own belief and prejudices. And secondly, in observational method, there is no control over the external environment. So there is observation cannot be done in a controlled environment. In psychology, we know the value of control, and this may lead to interpret the events in fruitless direction. Actually, what is the cause of the behavior? We cannot know. The, thirdly, many of the behavior are not shown very frequently. If we want to assess those behaviors, we have to wait. Suppose we want to observe some behavior related to quarreling. We do not quarrel every day. So very many quarreling we is a very is a behavior which doesn't occur very frequently. So if we study quarrel, whether the person is a quarrelsome person or not, we have to wait until the person shows that particular behavior. And the last method of personality assessment is personality inventories. Personality inventory is a printed form or questionnaires, we say it. Personality inventory is a printed form that consists of a set of statements or questions related to the traits measured. Questions are printed, and the list of questions is a standard one. It is same for all, and it requires specific answers such as yes, no, cannot decide, etc. So the questions are close-ended. As the questions demand close-ended answers, the assessments are quite objective in nature. So inventory method is very objective. Everything, our administration, scoring, interpretation, everything is uniform for all, and so the method is very objective. And since it is uniform for all, psychometric properties of inventories are very good. Some examples of personality inventories is Eysenck Personality Questionnaire, the California Psychological Inventory, 16 Personality Factor Questionnaires, the Neo PI, etc. These are some popular personality inventories. Advantages of personality inventories are personality inventories have certain advantages over projective tests and interviews because inventories are standardized, easy to administer and score. It is, as I have told you, it is standardized and uniform for all. That's why they are objective. Therefore, observer's bias and interpretation bias are not possible. So, it is very objective. Thirdly, I have already also told you, validity and reliability of inventories are superior to projective tests. Projective tests have usually low reliability and validity, but inventories are very good in terms of validity and reliability. Psychometric properties are inventories are very good in terms of these psychometric properties. Limitations of personality inventories. Even though good, they are good in validity, in terms of validity, still some people can fake their answers and respond in a socially acceptable ways. So there is also scope for social desirability effect. Another major problem with personality inventories is that some people follow a regular course of answering the statements without actually considering them. You ask whatever question to them, they will reply with a yes response. Those persons are called yes sayers. Similarly, some persons always say no to every question. Many times, question is, have you taken your lunch? Yes. Are you fasting? Yes. So they say yes to every question or no to every question. Though those people who say yes to every question, so they are known, they are called as yes sayers, and those who say no to every question, they are called naysayers. So if these people follow such a regular course of answering the statements, then the we cannot actually validly assess their personality. They do not consider the statements, or otherwise, many people also give answer to the statements randomly. Um, they do not actually consider what they are being asked. They give any answer to randomly give answers. So the whole purpose of assessment is lost. So, do you have any doubt with regard to the assessment of personality?
Yes, ma'am. I just wanted to ask, like, there was a halo effect which was mentioned.
Uh,
So, what is the difference between halo effect and horn effect?
Yes, halo effect is we form a positive impression about the person. Like we see the picture of gods, there is halo. Um, we we see halo in the picture. So halo effect is halo effect refers to our positive impression about the person. So if we form a positive impression at the first sight, then whatever the person says will be interpreted positively. Horn effect is formation of a negative impression, like the demons have horns. असुर लोगों का हॉर्न होता है ना, सिंग, ऐसा है. So this is a negative impression. So whatever they say, if we form a negative impression at the first sight, then we will interpret negatively whatever their answer is. Okay. Halo effect, you will come across halo effect in many books. Horn effect, authors do not mention it, horn effect. but it is a term there. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
There are several issues in the study of personality that have either remained unresolved or are still in the process of resolution. We will discuss in the coming classes about the different theories of personality. You will show the different views about personality, and there are these theories very often are contradictory to each other. Psychologists differ uh, in terms of their views. So the
मैडम ink block technique या the TAT technique
yes.
please say.
Okay, ink blot technique was developed by Rossack. It was a very old technique, but it is very widely used throughout the world. Even nowadays, it is used. The test consists of 10 cards, picture cards. The pictures are like ink blots. Okay, ink blots, you understand? Suppose we spill some ink on a paper and fold the paper. Okay, then when we open the paper, the ink will the ink must have spread unevenly, and such type of pictures are shown in an ink blot test. Okay. Okay.
Yes, madam.
And ink blot test, the test taker is shown these ink blots. Some of the ink blots are in black and white, and some of them are colored, multicolored. Yes, somebody is saying something. Hello, somebody is saying something.
No, madam.
Hello, are you saying something?
Yes, madam.
Yes, please. What are you saying?
TAT technique.
TAT. So TAT is let me finish ink blot test. And the test taker is asked to say what he or she is seeing on this picture, in this picture. Okay, so that is ink blot test. And in TAT, there are some picture cards. Pictures are there, and the test taker is told to say some stories to form some stories about this picture. Seeing this picture, the test taker constructs a story on this. What the picture is showing, what has led to this, to the events that are taking place in the picture, and what will be the outcome. So the person says or constructs a story about this picture. And it is assumed that the person projects his complexes, his anxieties, his pressures onto the story. Okay. Okay.
Yes,
No,
ma'am.
madam.
Any other doubt?
No, madam. No.
So, um, one such issue is nature versus nurture debate. Nature nurture debate. Francis Galton coined this term, nature versus nurture debate. Nature versus nurture debate is related to the influence of heredity and environment on the development of personality. Actually, Galton was fascinated by the idea of genetic pre-programming and tried to uncover the predestined ways of human beings. The psychologist who emphasize the role of nature, they are of the opinion that everything is genetically determined. Everything is determined before birth. Heredity and genetic importance in the development of traits are argued, are given preference. However, many other scientists, they are of the view that genetic predispositions are not all that influence the development of the personality. They argue that the second group of psychologists, they argue that our behavior is directly dependent upon the manner in which the person has been taught to behave. So learning is important. Our environment is important. Okay, the former is known as the former nature theory. The former means which emphasize the role of genes and heredity. Is known as nature theory, and the theory which emphasize the role of learning and environment is known as nurture theory. Learning, environment, culture, etc. All these factors are emphasized in the nurture theories. The nurture theory states that at the time of birth, the child is in a blank state of mind, or tabula rasa. It functions only through its reflexes. As the child grows day by day, through the process of socialization, it learns many things from the environment. So, socialization is important here, environment is important. However, we know that genetic research has advanced much, and human genome has also, we have discovered the human genome, and understanding of the human genome has come up with the information that both the sides are right in their own part. Actually, genes are also responsible for our behavior, many of our traits, and we have genetic tendencies to behave in a particular way, or to develop some traits, whereas so the nature provides us with inherent abilities and traits, while the nurture reshapes these genetic tendencies and molds them with progressive learning and maturity. This viewpoint, which agrees that both nature and nurture play crucial roles in human personality development, has come to be known as interactionism. Interactionists, they emphasize both the role of nature as well as nurture. We study the relative contribution of genes versus environment to the development of personality through twin studies, adoption studies, and family studies. Twin studies was what we do. We know there are two types of twins: fraternal twins and the monozygotic twins. And these monozygotic twins, their genetic makeup is same, but fraternal twins, they share 50% of their genetic makeup. So twins, if a particular trait is monozygotic twins, they are studied in terms of the presence or absence of certain traits. If both the pairs, both the members of these pairs of twins, they possess the same characteristics, then we can say that the characteristic is the genetically inherited, because both of them have same genetic makeup. And adoption studies. In adoption studies, they yes, yes. Somebody is just asking something.
No, ma'am.
Okay. In adoption studies, what do the researchers do is that they study the twins, monozygotic twins, reared in the same family, and both the members are reared in the same families, and they are compared with the members of the twins reared in different families, in they reared apart. Uh, so if there is a correlation between these two pairs in terms of some traits, suppose those some trait which is present in one twin and not in the other member who is reared apart, then we can say the trait is environmentally determined, because they have though they have same genetic makeup, they are reared apart. And family studies also, they compare the presence or absence of any trait among the family members. These methods are used to study the relative contribution of genes and environment. And it is believed that both the gene as well as environment are important for the development of personality. Second such issue is the person situation controversy. Actually, Michel in 1968 first questioned that the traits actually Michel argued that the traits do not predict the actual behavior. He argued that from literature, it is found out that personality traits only have a correlation of about 0.30 with how people actually behave in a given situation. So the correlation between the personality trait and their actual behavior in a particular situation is not very high. And the cross situational consistency of behavior is also this range from 0.20 to 0.30. So Michel concluded that situations rather than personality traits are better predictors of behavior. So the situation determines our behavior, not our personality traits. Michel argues like this. With regard to behavioral consistency across situations, even the same person, the person behaves differently in different situations. So Michel's opinion is that when the situation is clear, individuals act according to situation. But when the situation is ambiguous, they act according to personality. When we are clear about what the situation is and what the situation demands from us, we behave according to the situation. But if the situation is not clear, we behave according to our personality. Opposed to Michel's view, Epstein, he argued that although traits do not predict single behavior, they are good at predicting aggregates of such behaviors. On average, we behave according to our traits. And researchers like Magnusson and Endler, they believe that prediction of behavior is done not only in terms of traits or situations alone, rather some combination of the two must be attended. And according to these researchers like Magnusson and Endler, combination of traits and situation, combination interaction of trait and situation determine how the person behaves. So various theories are now being developed that follow this interactionist approach. So according to this interactionist approach, behavior is determined by the interaction of our personality and appraisal of the situation. Third issue is key issue is nomothetic approach versus idiographic approach to personality.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, can you give an example of this particular situation of interactionist approach, like behavior is equal to personality into appraisal of the situation?
Yes. Suppose I am basically a anxious person. Okay, so if I am told to give a presentation before the whole class, okay, the situation if I am basically an anxious person and I apprise the situation to be stressful, then my behavior is I will my is something my performance will be something different from mm, the case when even if I am uh, an anxious person and if I do not appraise the situation as stressful, I may appraise the situation. Oh, the class consists of only my friends, so why should I be afraid of it? So my appraisal of the situation and my personality trait, they interact with each other. How do I appraise the situation? How am I appraising the situation and my personality trait? Could you follow me?
Yes, ma'am, to some extent.
Um, uh, so my personality basically I am anxious person. My anxiety I am anxious person. But if I appraise the situation as stressful, my anxiety level will be higher. Then my behavior will be affected more by anxiety. On the other hand, with this same anxious person, I am the same anxious person, but I do not appraise the situation as a stressful, very stressful. So my anxiety level will not go up. So my behavior will be less affected by the situation.
Yes, ma'am, understood.
Madam, one
Yes,
question, madam.
yes.
Madam, here the behavior, anxious behavior is the personality. Is
Yes,
our
yes.
personality.
Uh-huh.
Anxiety is the behavior. Anxiety is the appraisal situation.
Appraisal of the situation, I may appraise the situation as a stressful or not very stressful.
Behavior.
Behavior,
Behavior.
how do I behave? My performance will be affected if my anxiety level goes up very high to goes up to very high level. My performance will be negatively affected.
Yes, madam.
While I am presenting, I may tremble, I may forget everything.
Your personality is anxious personality.
Yes, personality is one personality trait is anxiety.
And
Okay.
personality trait, madam, anxiety. Personality.
Personality trait theory says that personality is composed of so many traits. Personality traits. Our characteristics are traits.
Madam, here the example is personality is anxious personality.
Yes, if I
Yes.
have the anxiety trait is if I am an anxious person, then my anxiety level is more than normal, more than average. Normally, it is more than average.
Yes, madam. Yes, madam.
Suppose intelligence is a trait, and intelligent person, the person is intelligent, who is having high intelligence is a intelligent person. Okay.
Yes, madam.
Personality is how would you describe yourself? Okay. And personality trait is the quality you describe yourself in terms of traits. isn't it?
Yes, madam.
According to trait theory, personality is composed of several traits. There are also other theories. Another issue in the study of personality is a nomothetic approach versus idiographic approach. Nomothetic approach, nomothetic means predictable, universal, having generalizable laws. There are some generalized laws which is applicable to all, so universally true. So we can predict the behavior. So thus, nomothetic approach holds that how a person will act under certain circumstances can be calculated and anticipated, can be predicted, because there are generalized laws. Mainly the nomothetic approach relies on quantitative research methods such as self-report and questionnaires to establish universal behaviors. On the other hand, idiographic approach means each individual is unique. There is no general law which can be applicable to all individuals. Okay, so each individual is unique, and Alport argued that each person possesses a unique pattern of cardinal, central, and secondary traits. Alport's theory we will discuss. I will tell you. Nomothetic means there is something universal, and there is something generalized. There is something that can be generalized to all, but idiographic is each individual is unique. So we cannot apply the same rule to all individuals. Okay. So the nomothetic or an idiographic approach is not just a question of psychological discovery, but also the methods employed in that discovery, how we are studying the topic also depends on this approach. The nomothetic point of view depends mainly on psychometric testing and quantitative methods. They conduct experiments, they conduct statistical analysis, and etc. On the other hand, idiographic method includes idiographic methods, as it believes that everybody is unique. They conduct case studies, they open-ended interviews, unstructured observations, and other qualitative methods. They follow these qualitative methods. The nomothetic approach emphasizes on the use of quantitative methods. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Ma'am, this is actually the usage of the personality. Like suppose we have to identify whose personality is a person's identification of a personality. Then we use this nomothetic approach or idiographic approach.
Yes. Suppose we have to conduct research studies on personality. Suppose we say that there is a correlation between, say, what we say, introversion and anxiety. Okay. Suppose I say there is a correlation between all introvert persons are anxious persons. I want to generalize it. So what I would do? I would administer standardized questionnaires to measure introversion, okay, introversion, measures of introversion, and anxiety scales will also be administered, and I find out the correlation coefficient, and so that means I follow a quantitative method. I generalize that introversion and anxiety are correlated. On the other hand, I may say, suppose many philosophers, they are introvert persons. But, they may score very high on scales of introversion, but they are not basically anxious persons. So their anxiety level may not be very high. So if I follow an idiographic method, I would take the case studies of such philosophers, or I may conduct informal, unstructured interviews. Why are they introvert? So it is not like the correlationship between these two traits. It is about the introversion trait as such. How do they feel? What do they think, etc. Okay. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So another issue is cross-cultural issues. Personality and culture, they are very much related to each other. It is believed that they are very much related to each other. One so we say some cultures are very individualistic cultures, like the American culture. Western cultures are individualistic. Uh, but the Asian people, particularly our Indian people, we have a collectivistic culture. Um, so this the difference, actually research has shown many a number of differences um, uh, uh, between the two cultures, between among the people of these two cultures, individualistic cultures and collectivistic cultures. So differences in factors such as personal achievement, egalitarian relationships, role flexibility, familiar connections, etc., have been found among the individuals of these variant two cultures. For example, in individualistic society, personal achievement is emphasized. So, whereas in collectivistic society, personal achievement is not emphasized. Um, uh, in collectivistic society, our familial connections are very tight, strong, whereas in individualistic society, familial connections are not very strong. So there is a difference, and this we can say this is we can describe nations according within this individualistic versus collectivistic framework of culture. Uh, 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 of course, we cannot attribute every difference among the people of different countries to this framework, individualistic, collectivistic culture. Cultural framework, we cannot explain all the differences in terms of cultures, but there are definitely cultural influences. So the individualism collectivism framework can be of more use in describing cultural tendencies as a whole rather than describing individual characteristics and traits. Okay.
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
So somebody was saying that I have skipped the unit 2. Let us come to the topic of unit 2. I will not discuss about in details the trait theory, but type approaches to personality we can discuss. The earliest effort to explain human behavior is describing the personality in terms of types. So that is known as typologies. Typologies or personality types are classified, have classified behavior into discrete all or nothing categories, either or. There is no continuity between the types, either one type or another type. For example, Hippocrates, a Greek physician, classified individuals into 4 exclusive types according to 4 basic internal fluids or humors. Body fluids, according to the predominance of body fluids, Hippocrates divided or classified the in people into 4 exclusive types. Each type is associated with a particular temperament. These 4 basic fluids, according to Hippocrates, are blood, phlegm, black bile, and yellow bile. The dominance of any one fluid led to a particular personality temperament, what Hippocrates believed. For example, dominance of blood produce sanguine temperament. Sanguine types, people, sanguine type people are believed to be cheerful and active. Dominance of phlegm produced phlegmatic temperament, and phlegmatic type is characterized by apathetic and sluggish type of people. They are very apathetic and sluggish. The dominance of black bile produced melancholic temperament. Melancholic people are sad and brooding type people. And yellow bile, if the yellow bile is dominant, the temperament becomes choleric temperament. And choleric people having a choleric temperament are irritable and excitable. This is known as 4 humor type theory. Another interesting typology um, was given by William Sheldon, American physician. Sheldon tried to relate physics to temperament. Hippocrates related body humor to temperament, whereas Sheldon related body physics to temperament. According to this body physique or somatotype body build, he assigned each individual to one of the three categories. First is ectomorphic. Ectomorphic people are thin, long, and fragile. Second type is endomorphic. Endomorphic are fat, soft, and round. Basically, fat people. And third type is mesomorphic. Mesomorphic are muscular, strong, and rectangular. They are having a muscular, strong, and rectangular body build. According to Sheldon, ectomorphs are artistic, brainy, introverted. Ectomorphs, they are artistic, brainy, and introverted, and also they are irritable. ଆମର ଚାଣକ୍ୟ ମଧ୍ୟ କହିଥିଲେ କ୍ଷୀଣ ଜନା ନିଷ୍କରୁଣା ଭବନ୍ତି. Endomorphs, they are relaxed, fond of eating. ଯୋଉମାନଙ୍କର fat, those people, they are relaxed, fond of eating, sleeping, and they are sociable. Whereas mesomorphs are affective, dominant, filled with energy and courage. Okay, this is Sheldon's typology, body build typology. And another typology, this is a relatively recent typology theory, Myers-Briggs type indicator. And this typology is based upon Carl Jung's theory of personality types. Carl Jung talked of 4 dimensions of personality, that is extraversion or introversion, sensing or intuition, thinking or feeling, and judgment or perception. So these are 4 dimensions of personality given by Carl Jung, and MBTI identifies 16 types of personality based on these 4 dimensions. That is combination of these dimensions. Extroversion and introversion dimension. We all know that extroversion, we are oriented towards outer environment, and introversion, introvert people are oriented towards their oriented within, they are more interested in within themselves. They are involved within themselves. So Sensing or intuition. Sensing people are much influenced by the environment, what they sense, what they see, what they experience. And intuition, uh, uh, they are more governed by their inner feeling rather than their outer feeling, outer sensation, outer experience. Um, Third, thinking or feeling. Thinking people are rational, and feeling people uh, uh, they are governed by their feeling, and judgment and perception. Was a judgment perception distinction was given by Myers. Uh, this distinction indicates as to whether the individual's orientation towards the external world comes from rational or irrational function pair. Uh, if a person takes MBTI, it is a, we can say, personality measure. He would be assigned to only one pole of each dimension, and the combination of dimensions would determine which of the 16 types best describes him. Like there is combination of extraversion, sensing, thinking, judgment. Introversion, sensing, thinking, judgment. Uh, or extraversion, sensing, feeling, perception. Like this, there are combination of these each pole of each dimension. And the resultant is 16 types of personality. For example, a person who receives ESFP, that is extroverted, sensing, feeling, perception. The person would be characterized as outgoing, easygoing, accepting, friendly, and would be considered best in situations that need sound common sense and practical ability with people as well as with things. So MBTI, in short, we can say on the basis of these 4 dimensions of personality, MBTI classifies people according to 60 types. And this MBTI is used now, it is also in use in industries, organizations, etc. Whereas type theories,
Excuse me, ma'am.
yes,
Ma'am, this particular MBTI theory, like suppose you said about combination of ESFP. So how is this interpretation coming? Like outgoing, easygoing, accepting. I mean,
yes.
who does this interpretation? How does it come like this?
This test or measure has been developed, and they have their manual, and they are interpreting like this. We can say extraversion, a extroverted person is outgoing, isn't it? They are describing
Yes, ma'am.
extraversion in terms of
Yeah,
outgoing. Okay.
right.
And sensing. Sensing means they are more practical. They depend on their what they are sensing experience. So they are practical, they have practical ability and feeling. Feeling means they are accepting, they do not they do not think very much, and they are not thinking type. uh, so they are accepting, they do not what to say, complicated, they do not think a lot, they are not very complicated type. And perception is they do not every time make rational judgment, they accept things as they perceive.
Okay, ma'am. But like who is the audience? On whom is it administered? It can
People
no
even
like it's
you
based on the
you can take this,
organizations.
you
Okay,
can you can also take this test.
but basically, who are the audience? Like on whom it is administered? The purpose of MBTI.
MBTI, the mostly nowadays it is used in organizations.
Okay.
They are administering it on their employees, or recruit at the time of recruitment, etc. Okay. Hello.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
The type theory categorizes people into mutually exclusive types. They are discrete, all or none categories. But trait theories, there are trait theories which there describe personality in terms of several traits. Okay, traits are more or less enduring characteristics of the individual. Traits are continuous, so they are not discrete. That means we types are all or none. I am either phlegmatic or sanguine. Uh, 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 but traits are characteristics, and they assume that each trait is present in all the individuals in differing amount, in differing degree. Okay. I maybe an extroversion person means the trait extraversion is present to a great extent within me. Uh, I am less intelligent. That means intelligence, it is not that I do not have any intelligence. I have, I do not have much intelligence, or I have less than normal intelligence. Okay. So an introverted person, uh, he on the dimension of extroversion and introversion, he is very less extroverted. That's why he is introverted. So extraversion is very less within him. Understood? Hello?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
So,
Yes, ma'am.
traits are continuous, and they can be present in varying amount, very low to very high. One can be very low in one trait and very high in another trait. and traits are enduring. There are a number of trait theories given by different psychologists. For example, the first trait theory we can say was given by Gordon Allport. Allport talked of three types of traits. Cardinal trait and central traits and secondary traits. Secondary traits are our daily habits, okay, our daily habits. Above the secondary traits, we have some central traits. Secondary traits, I can say that I like to what to say, watch cinema. I like to be in a party. These are secondary traits. It is a day-to-day habits or preferences. Okay, and central traits are some core traits. And we have central traits. If you describe a person, uh, as suppose I ask you, how is your friend? How would you describe your friend? You would say, well, my friend is very sociable, very helpful, a little bit angry. Okay, you would describe like that, isn't it?
Yeah, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So central traits, each of us have 8 to 10 central traits. And these are the traits we usually describe people in terms of it. And cardinal trait is such a trait. The individual is fully dedicated, fully committed to their trait. The individual's whole life revolves around that trait. That is cardinal trait. Like suppose Mahatma Gandhi. Mahatma Gandhi, non-violence. Uh, Non-violence was a cardinal trait of Mahatma Gandhi. His whole life was revolving, centering around that non-violence. Mother Teresa, suppose compassion, love for humanity. These are her whole life is committed to the value of these traits. Uh, Most of us do not have any cardinal trait. Normally, most of us, we do not have any cardinal trait. We have central traits and secondary traits. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, somebody is saying something. Okay, that is Alport's trait theory. Similarly, Cattell has also given a trait theory, which is known as the 16 personality factor theory. Cattell categorized his traits as surface traits and source traits. Surface traits are the traits, qualities which we can observe. And at the source of these surface traits are source traits. Cattell talked of 16 such source traits. For example, extraversion versus introversion is a source trait in Cattell's theory. So extraversion is a source trait, but the person who is having high extraversion, uh, we can observe that we cannot observe the extraversion behavior. We can observe that the person is outgoing, the person likes to be with other people, etc. The person enjoys the company of other people. So these are surface traits we can observe from the person's behavior. Observe, these are surface traits. And at the source of these observable behavior are the source traits, extraversion. Okay. And Cattell talked of 16 such source traits, and there are source traits have surface traits. And out of 16 surface traits, out of 16 source traits, Cattell also talked of 4 second level traits. These are extraversion, dependence, anxiety, and another is I think trustworthiness. I have forgotten just that. So another trait theory was given by Eysenck. Eysenck also given first at the earlier version of his theory describes 2 traits, extraversion and neuroticism. These are 2 traits. Eysenck gave a biological description to his traits. So extraversion means the person likes to be with other people, and neuroticism is our emotionally unstable. And in a later version of Eysenck's theory, he added another trait, psychoticism. So Eysenck's trait theory describes human personality in terms of these 3 traits, extraversion, neuroticism, and psychoticism. And Eysenck's theory gives a biological description of his traits. For example, he explains extraversion theory in terms of brain functioning. How Eysenck explains our brain always like to be in a moderate level of activity. Okay, so a moderate level of how can the brain be active? If there is a stimulation, the brain can be active. Okay, so in the extroverted people have their brain a little inactive. Okay, so their brain activity, brain functions a little less. So in order to reach that moderate level of activity, they always seek external stimulus, external stimulation they need. That's why they like the company of others. They like party type of activity. They enjoy the gathering, etc. Whereas for introverted people, their brain is very active, so they have to slow down their activity level in order to reach the optimum level of activity. That's why they remain calm. They do not like the company of other people. They do not need to be stimulated by external stimulation. That is Eisen's explanation. Okay, we will discuss some other trait theories in the next class and other later. I think today we should stop here. Do you have any doubt?
No, ma'am.
Ma'am, I just wanted to ask something like these all psychometric assessments from starting from Big Five Factor or MBTI, is it just available in the internet and we take it from there, the questionnaire and administer, or do we need to have a certification from there to actually get it administered on someone?
I don't think that all these tests are available freely in internet because these tests are also very costly. So I don't think you can freely avail these tests in the internet, but you can buy them. But
Okay,
again, buying them individually is very difficult. They will need a certificate, some that you are a practicing psychologist, you have at least passed, you have a degree in psychology. It is easier to procure them through an institution, through a college or a university.
so are there like any certifications available for us to be done, or do we just need to do the psychology course, then we'll be eligible for
There are the different tests have different requirements. Some tests can be administered by any graduate having a having psychologist or subject. Some tests they require that you must have completed master's degree. Some tests you should have a clinical psychology degree. There is a difference.
okay, ma'am. Okay, ma'am.
Sir, can you send these slides to my WhatsApp and I will give it to the group?
This
I
note.
think you are up to date.
Okay, after the my all the 4 blocks are over, I will give it to you. I can give it to you.
Okay,
It is
okay.
I can give it to you.
Okay, thank you.
Last day of my class, I can give you.
Okay, okay.
Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you, madam.
Thank you for patiently listening to me.
Thank you, madam.